we still faithful. I'ma put it all on the table. We forever faithful. Yeah, we still faithful.
What's up, 49er faithful? Thank you for tuning in to Keeping the Faith. I'm JD, and we are just about 6 days or so away from the start of the NFL's legal tampering period prior to the formal beginning of free agency next week. The legal tampering period kicks off on Monday, March the 10th, with free agency officially getting underway 2 days later on March the 12th. And ever since the 49ers traded Deebo Samuel, a lot of the focus, a lot of the attention has been turned to, okay, what are the 49ers going to do to fill Deebo's spot in the rotation? And one big name, one big domino has already fallen and has gotten a head start on free agency, and that would be former New York Jets, former Las Vegas Raiders, former Green Bay Packers, all-pro wide receiver Davante Adams. Now, that is by far the biggest free agent name available at this moment, especially after the Cincinnati Bengals elected to franchise tag T. Higgins. And with Davante Adams being from Palo Alto, being from the Bay Area, he has ties to the region. And over the last several weeks, you've heard reports that if Davante Adams elects not to follow Aaron Rodgers to his next destination, that the West Coast is somewhere Davante Adams would like to be. Now, of course, that would include teams like the Los Angeles Chargers and the Los Angeles Rams, but the 49ers were thrown into there as well. And a lot of Niner fans have been, wanting the Niners to kick the tires on a Davante Adams if he becomes available. And now, well, he's a free agent. He's up for grabs. He is free to sign a new contract with any team. And the Niners just so happen to potentially have a need at wide receiver after moving on from Deebo Samuel and potentially trading Brandon Ayuk here in the near future if that comes to fruition. But I wanted to talk about the pros and cons of the 49ers going after a Davante Adams. And you see, I don't want to burst anyone's bubble, but I don't think it's a logical thing. I don't think it's going to happen, quite frankly. Now, Davante Adams is 32 years old. He's coming off of a good season last year at the age of 31, 32. He had 85 receptions for 1,063 yards and 8 touchdowns between his two stints with the Las Vegas Raiders and New York Jets. I mean, with all the dysfunction involving those two franchises, Davante Adams still found a way to get over 80 receptions and over 1,000 yards. So Davante can still play. The 32-year-old age does not scare me away from Davante Adams. The dude can still play. He's a route runner. He's just a technician out there on the field. And of course, his expertise in gaining separation in the short and intermediate areas of the field would fit in great with Brock Purdy. I'm not saying Davante Adams wouldn't fit in great with the 49ers. He absolutely would. But with Davante Adams, you have to think about it like this. Davante Adams is 32 years old. He'll be 33 in December. Do you think he really wants to come into a team like the 49ers where he's going to be asked to block most of the time? If you're a receiver on the 49ers, you have to be a different breed. You have to be willing to put your nose in there and block. And Davante Adams, being 32 years old, being a guy who has gotten more than his lion's share of receptions on every team he's ever been on, do you think Davante Adams is going to want to come to the 49ers and block 60% of the time? And even when he is running routes, he's not going to necessarily be the number one option. You're going to have guys like George Kittle. Christian McCaffrey is going to get a ton of receptions out of the backfield. Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall. Oh, yeah. And working under the assumption that the 49ers do retain Brandon Ayuk and don't trade him, Brandon Ayuk's going to be back at some point in the season as well. So I don't think bringing in Davante Adams is the kind of move the 49ers are going to make. I'm not saying he wouldn't help. I'm not saying I don't want him. Hey, I would love Davante Adams on the 49ers. I'm just looking at this from a logical standpoint. I don't see the fit because let's just work under the assumption that the 49ers don't trade Brandon Ayuk, right? You get to the point in the year when Ayuk returns from his injury, and you're going to have Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, and Davante Adams all, just trying to get snaps, trying to get catches on the 49ers wide receiver depth chart, not to mention, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey. There's not enough of a football to go around when you have all those guys. And just remember what happened last year with Devondre Campbell and Dre Greenlaw when Greenlaw came back from injury and Devondre Campbell was rubbed the wrong way. I'm not saying Davante Adams or any of the Niners players would react the same way that Devondre Campbell did, but when Brandon Ayuk comes back from injury, you're going to have 4 guys really playing for 3 spots. And somebody's going to get rubbed the wrong way. Someone's going to be pissed off, quite frankly. And so I don't know if Davante Adams necessarily fits with what the 49ers, will be looking to do this season if they keep Brandon Ayuk in the fold. Now, hey, if they trade Brandon Ayuk, that's a whole nother animal because they're going to be dealing with the dead cap hit from Ayuk. And then to top that off, you're going to be paying Davante Adams or whatever his new contract is. So at the end of the day, I don't think Davante Adams is a logical thing. I don't think it's going to happen, Niner fans, if I'm being honest with you. I don't want to burst your bubble, but that's just how I'm looking at it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see Davante Adams in the red and gold. I would. But I just don't think it's going to happen. So let me know down below what you guys think. Free agency is just a few days away. There's a ton of news going on. Things are happening, by the minute, and it's just going to get even crazier the closer we get to the start of free agency. So until next time, let's go Niners.